Holy, market's coming down now.
Okay, we are now. I know we're live. So, apologies for the delays, everyone. So
We're back. We're back.
I'll repeat it for the live audience. What happened is my computer had a seizure, I guess, at 7:59, right before this show started. So I was all set. I was literally gonna hit the go live button. Computer decided to just completely conk out on me, but we're back now. So I apologize for that delay. You missed my entire intro, but that's okay. We'll just jump right in here. So where
Let's
we're
go
gonna
Restoration Hardware first. This
Okay.
stock was just a chop fest after the earnings report there. They couldn't decide whether they liked it or they didn't like it. I watched it rally 5, fall 5, rally back, fall back, rally back, fall back. The old accordion chart, as Joel Elconin, our technical analyst, likes to call it. I can show that chart after hours. Give us a number, Spencer, while Joel analyzes these technicals because I can't make
numbers
it.
on RH from yesterday. EPS, adjusted EPS, $2.79 versus a $2.23 estimate. Sales of $677 for $676 million. So a beat and a beat in the third quarter. They reaffirmed their Q4 adjusted EPS guidance going to be in the mid $3 range. They also raised their fiscal year adjusted EPS guidance by about $1 on the low end of the range, or about a half a buck, I guess you could say, from the high $10 range to the mid $11 range. Q4 sales coming in line.
Can we show that chart?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay. Joel's going to analyze it now as he sees
I'm
the
just going to
action.
stay 212. That's it. I can't interpret any of that lower chop. I would just say over the last half hour,
It started to show some life.
Yeah.
Over the last this morning, it started to pick up and actually looks like it wants to go higher now.
Right, but I'm just saying, I don't know where support in this. All I can say is that someone has a little bit of stock they want to get rid of 212.
But that's an all-time high, I believe, for RH. So it's always tough to be short in stocks an all-time high. So, what was the expected move? Does anybody know that? Have it in front of them? I would assume it was a lot higher than 5 or 6 points for RH. I would assume it could have been over 10 points. I did not look at my options chain. I can go bring it up. I just thought somebody might have it quickly in the chat. I'd imagine, just guessing, I bet you it was $12.
Spinner will find it for us here.
$12 minimum.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to my options chain here too, just quickly. 22 points.
Uh-oh.
How do you make money buying options?
How do you make money?
This is going to, I'm going to have this on one page in our book there, and it's going to be one page, and it's just going to say, don't buy options. That's it. You know what? It's hard making money. This is why Nick Shaheen is continuously profitable. We have him on every other Tuesday because he's selling options. You make a lot more money, I believe, and obviously you got to be able to take the drawdowns, or you got to do them protected like you do with Nick, where if you do sell a put, you buy a lower put to protect yourself in the case of a black swan event. But it is difficult. I mean, in this last couple of quarters, it has been very difficult. The odd one goes through that expected move, but here you are, 22-point expected move, you're getting 4. So the call buyer's losing, the put buyer's losing, the option writers are smiling.
So, yep, no, it's a good point. Up 438. The only thing is I just see a little bit of 212 there. Maybe get rid of that seller, continue higher. Former all-time high, 207.01.
Let's jump over just from the last night. We're going to go through the earnings from last night. Then we're going to do a special segment on this stock that was on Jim Cramer's Mad Money last night. And then we're going to do the stocks from this morning. So I'm going to go Five Below here now because Five Below is having a nice beat. I'm assuming it's probably not even beyond the expected move either. I'm going to go look at that while Spencer gives you the numbers.
All right, Five Below from yesterday after the close. Q3 adjusted EPS in line at 17 cents. Sales was a beat, 377 versus $373 million. They narrowed their guidance for the year. They raised the low end of their full year EPS guidance. They raised it by a couple cents, but we're still expecting a low $3 EPS for the year. And they gave some Q4 guidance as well. EPS guidance for that was in line. Sales guidance for the fourth quarter was a little bit light.
$10 expected move. Option writers lose again here. At least they're losing right now. Joel, what are your thoughts on this one? We're getting some of the
Listen,
losses back from
You
the
got the
last couple of
daily, get
days.
the daily up here. This is like the easiest chart to read.
Oh, I like easy. You're telling me to throw me a softball up the middle?
Well, I mean, look at those three highs, right? At 126.40. That's where your pre-market high is. Three staking highs in a row. So there's your resistance. You take that out, you really open up to 130. But man, let's see what happens here. Last tick, 126.07. Pre-market high right in this area. Three daily highs right in this area. That's the key. That's the key to going to 130. 126.40. Couldn't tell you where to buy this thing on a pullback. It just seems like a steady move up, but I like that number. I like three highs in the same area. Get bid, hold there, boom, 130. That's what I'm looking at. We'll see what happens.
The other one that I had on my list from last night was Slack. And we use Slack at Benzinga all the time. So like the product. I haven't liked the stock for a while just because they don't make money. And I obviously like stocks to make money. It's been out of favor for a bit. But with that being said, it stopped going down. And 20 has been massive support. And if we actually look at the trading action from last night, it's turned into some support as well. Spencer, give us the details. Slack is actually, which we're talking about, WORK, great ticker symbol, has moved to the green.
Numbers from yesterday, this is what they said, 2-cent EPS loss versus an 8-cent loss estimate. So that's a beat. Sales also beat 168 versus $156 million. The Q4 guidance that they gave, the adjusted EPS guidance, was in line. The sales guidance that they gave was a little bit higher than estimates. What they didn't say, though, is how many active users they have, which is interesting. They said so in October. They said, let me pull the number up right now. I believe it was 12 million in October. Microsoft's Teams has more than that. So,
Microsoft's what?
Microsoft Teams. That's Microsoft's version of Slack. Microsoft Teams has 20 million daily active users. Slack last reported in October, I believe that they had 12 million. So
they're not even caught up to where Microsoft is basically what you're saying. I'm just getting alarms here. Let's jump over here and just look at the technicals quickly. The expected move was almost $3. The expected move was almost $3. So again, the option writers are getting slammed on this. I mean, I think I just looked at quickly. It looked like it was $2.70. So it's only 98 cents. So option writers are 3 for 3. The option writers are not getting slammed. The option buyers are getting slammed. The option writers are happy. So what are your thoughts here, though?
This one's pretty simple. This one is pretty simple technical analysis.
Good, simple technical analysis.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I passed yesterday. I know you almost fell off your chair when I passed. Well, I can't remember what stock.
I've never seen you pass on a stock before. We didn't even know it was allowed, but then Spencer allowed it.
Well, your after hours highs 23.69, and then you got two daily highs that line up with that. One at 23.60. on October 18th. And then you had another one in November, 23.55. You backed a buck off that level. So you got to get back up there. You got to that's good resistance. If you got to pop up there the first time, that is going to be excellent resistance. The fact that it's a buck away now makes me think it might be a little bit harder for it to get back up to that area. But that's the major resistance I'm seeing here in work. And if you want to get super bullish and think this thing bottomed, for good, or for at least enough to have a retracement, what you went 42, let's call it 20, 21. I mean, if you're looking for 50% retracement, you want to hold out for 30, 31, go ahead. That probably take a while to get there, but that's a 50% retracement off this bad looking IPO chart.
I mean, it's good news that the stock bounced off of the earnings, and obviously we're trading down here last night for a bit. Now we're in the green. So maybe it shows a little bit of life here for a bit. I'd say $24 if you do end up getting up there. I think you're going to run into sellers though. So I don't know how much upside is here. I think you could get a little follow through though. Like it started actually, if you look at, and we're showing the daily, but if you look at the trading from last night, it's starting to turn around here.
It's got a buyer. It's definitely
got somebody buying in here.
Step up buyer too. He's stepping up.
This might be a good segue, because just because you necessarily have a buyer doesn't mean eventually you don't run into a seller. And I want to talk about this stock. I've never seen this off of Mad Money last night. It's RCEL. And if you look at it this morning, you're like, well, what's it's up? It's down 3%. What's the big deal? show the after hours chart, just leave the after hours chart on this. This was unbelievable. So I have no idea why it decided to just blast off because it was featured on Mad Money. It was advertised. It was actually up during the day. So, and about 9 a.m., Kramer came on and said it was going to be on Mad Money. And if you look, the stock was up all day because it was going to be on Mad Money. There's really no other reason. RCEL opens at the low and then ran all the way up to like 860. Last night, they just decided that this was the stock and this was just going to keep going. It ran all the way up to $9.80. It is correct, that chart. Just buyers galore. I couldn't believe it. So I actually started shorting it way too early because I thought when it got over $9, I was like, this is getting ridiculous for a Mad Money pop. I actually started shorting it at 9.19. I shorted some more at 9.35. And then I was just like, I didn't even know what to do. I was like, am I missing something? It's featured on Mad Money. It's going up 20% because it's on Mad Money. I've never seen a stock move 20% because Jim Cramer's interviewing, especially one that was advertised to be on there. So anyways, it goes up all the way up to $9.80. I'm kind of throwing up in my mouth. I wanted to short more up near 10 because they had all those tops. I didn't have the guts though because I had shorted it too early. So, you know, I messed this trade up. There's no doubt about it. You know, I was just playing the Kramer fade, and then it just started coming in, and it started coming in hard. And there was a step down seller, and you could tell it was somebody that wanted to short the stock because it had the alternative uptick rule. Lots of teaching tools here. The alternative uptick rule comes into play when a stock moves over 10%. It did move 10% during the day. So the alternative uptick rule was in play for the rest of the day and the following day, which would be today. So you have to get actually short on the offer. You cannot hit a bid to get short. That's how the rule works. Not necessarily an uptick. You just have to get short on the offer. Somebody just decided they would be on the offer no matter what. Stock comes down to like 970. They're on the offer 971. Comes down 965. They're on the offer 966. Which with size. Size trades out, replenishes. Size trades out, replenishes. This goes on for an hour and a half. They knock the stock all the way back down to $8.20. So giving it all back and going into the red. The seller was just absolutely relentless. So it had relentless buying while it was on Mad Money. And then once the segment ended and once a few minutes went by, the relentless selling just came in and the thing gave it all back. So anybody who was holding on and fading the move, I was obviously way too early. I still made a little bit of money, but I could have made a lot more if I wouldn't have been shorting it too early. Anybody who's shorting it just made a ton of money fading that Jim Cramer pop. And this is it. It's so many teaching tools here. Like, just because a stock's on Mad Money doesn't mean you go out and you buy the hell out of it in the after hours. You know, it's a good way to lose money. Even Kramer says, wait till, because he knows he's going to move the stock. When it's on Mad Money, a lot of times a stock will get a Kramer pop. He even says, you know, wait till, basically he's implying, wait till my Kramer pop ends, you know, stock comes in and then buy it. He's said that before in the past. He doesn't call it the Kramer pop, but it's kind of what he's implying. But basically, you saw this, you know, huge Kramer pop. I've never seen one go 20% before. And then you just saw somebody come in and say, this is nonsense. I'm going to short the hell of this all the way down. And that short just cleaned up, like absolutely cleaned up. I don't know if they've got all covered here now because they shorted a lot of stock, but they were shorting at 975, 979, all the way down, trading out size. So obviously they were correct because the stock is now down 3% here. Impressive trading action.
Guess what the all-time high is.
It went right to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I that's why I wanted to short it up there. I actually had an order out there to sell it at 979, just below those two all-time highs. I canceled it because the buyers were just there's too much. There was so much buying going on. I was like, I got to step back. I was already short. I'm not going to add to the losing position. Like I will sometimes on some of these trades, but it was just so much power. And then the problem is you're trying to get short on the way down. Well, nobody's really having that good of a time getting short. You got this huge seller you can't get in front of. You can't get a tick on the thing. So, and that's why it drove it back all the way back down. This person just wanted to short it. They said, forget about this. And how do we know that the person was shorting it? Because they were working a tick. Because you can see they can't hit the bid, so they kept coming on the offer. So that's how you know with the alternative uptick rule that this person wanted to short the stock. So, you know, people would say, oh, you're speculating that was a short seller. No, you can see the tick. They're trying to work the tick for 2 hours. So unbelievable seller. I've never seen a seller come in that hard on one of these things. They just basically said this Kramer pop is nonsense and we're shorting the hell out of it. And you know what? They made a lot of money because of it. Love Jim Cramer. Even he would say, because he's stocks on his show. It doesn't mean it should go up 20% in that moment. That was a ridiculous move last night.
There was good volume on that way up to 8.
Crazy volume, Joel.
Yeah.
Like that. Like this isn't just trade a few hundred shares. This probably traded 100,000 shares on the way up, maybe more.
I said, yeah, I could tell you exactly.
Yeah, tell me. It was a crazy amount of volume. I don't know who the hell was buying it.
There was, initially 58,000, 41,000.
It was crazy. Non-stop buyers.
27,000. And then the hammer came in and it might have covered. He might have hit like that, hit it all the way down because there was a
might have got some covered
at 820 because there was a 120,000 share print.
This thing might have traded like 500,000 shares last night on all this nonsense.
It did. Yep.
And if you look this morning, it looks like crickets, but that was not crickets last night. That was incredible action. Congratulations to shorts up there. Like I said, I was too early on. I made a little bit, but like I said, I was shorting too early. So I took some heat and didn't want to add to it. Should have added to it. And there's not very many cases I like to add to the losing position, but it just got crazy. I mean, it's up 20% because it's utter nonsense.
Yep. Wow.
So I'm nothing but against the company. Sorry, this is nothing against the company. I'm just saying it should not move 20% because it gets featured on Mad Money, in my opinion, especially in ADR. So anyways, that was my rant on that. Love you, Jim. We love you. But that was a crazy move off that stock.
Yeah, it came back here and it's just kind of hanging out. Obviously, we know where resistance is and that, and just hanging out. It also had a big day yesterday. So if you want to maybe try and pick it up on the cheap, 786 was yesterday's low. But I don't know. A lot of people.
The trade's over.
Yeah,
it was all last night. That's the craziest after hours trade you're ever going to see. It's an $8 stock. When it made $8 when it was said it was going to be on Mad Money, it was $8. It ran to 10 and then came all the way back down, climbing up the mountain and all the way back down the mountain. Crazy move.
All right. So
okay, so that was that. Jump back over to the earnings parade here, and we're going to get a jobs number here coming up tomorrow. Actually, what am I doing?
It's actually. Yep. Yeah, maybe it was the ADP. Don't we have a number at 8:15 on Thursdays?
No, I had it yesterday, I think.
At ADP yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good to go. So tomorrow we get the jobs number. I just looked down for a second. I panicked. It was 8:25. I was like, oh, I'm losing track of days here. I was up late watching the Oilers just
how'd they do?
Play terrible hockey. That's why I'm wearing a Lions cap, because the Lions actually look better than the Oilers.
No way.
Means anything.
The British Columbia Lions?
The Oilers played one of the worst teams in the league, and they literally just could not. They played an awesome first period, and then they decided they were going to be able to cakewalk over his team, let in a bad goal or two, and then they just could not get the momentum back. And it was ugly game. So anyways, I don't want to talk about that, but I'm tired because I was up there and I was stewing about it all night.
Well, what we do get today is in the beginning of an OPEC meeting. Don't forget that. So if you're watching oil,
okay,
you don't watch oil maybe, because over the next day or so, OPEC is expected to increase their current cuts by about 1.2 million barrels per day. But they're meeting right now, goes today and tomorrow. So expected volatility.
And you have that Aramco IPO.
And the Aramco IPO.
Yeah,
right,
they're
exactly.
juicing crude for that, huh? Boy, oh boy. That's supposed to be a big one. Alfred's asking about home, and home's trading down 363
earnings.
Yeah.
Give us the details on this one.
Oh, all right.
Boy, oh boy.
At home.
Take it home, Spencer.
Thank you. At home group Q3 EPS $0.00. Sales $318 million beat the estimate there. They gave some guidance. Q4 EPS guidance was light. The estimate was at 49 cents per share. The guidance they actually gave was 31 to 36 cents. The Q4 sales guidance also light. 413 million was the estimate. 385 to 393 is what they said. They gave some fiscal year guidance as well. That was also light on the EPS and on the sales. So light guidance across the board this morning for HOME. Actually, yesterday after the close.
I don't follow the company at all, so can't tell you anything fundamental about it. I can just tell you this is not showing any life here. This got hit last night. It's continued to leak. We're down 42%. You do have all those lows back from August there, 458. Maybe that comes into play, but this chart is awful looking.
Yep, that's what I was just the only number you have here is the all-time low in it at 458. Stock peaked over $40, 40.97 all-time high, now at an all-time low. We'll see what happens. 458. And folks are asking about Sage, and that stock is getting a little bit of a haircut today.
Whoa.
Is that right?
That is right.
Is that right?
That was the first thing I saw when I got in this morning was Sage. Yep. That is
Holy
right.
mackerel. Obviously,
Yeah.
some trial didn't go very well.
Exactly right. Top line results from a pivotal phase 3 study to treat depression did not meet the primary endpoint at day 15 of the trial.
I have been burned in a lot of biotech stocks trying to call bottoms, especially on these smaller ones that don't have that are dependent on one drug. And I have been burned badly trying to call bottoms on these things. So I don't even attempt to call a bottom on these things anymore. Sometimes they continue to leak. Sometimes they bounce back a little bit. They typically don't bounce back at all. And a lot of these, so if you're thinking, oh, it's 95 points down, how can I go wrong? You can go wrong if it falls another 20 points. You buy a 53 and lose 40% of your money. So, there's lots of ways to go wrong here. The major support, and nobody wants to hear this, but you had the lows in 2016 at 26 bucks. Now, this is, already a huge move. This is going to chop all around. I don't want to even attempt to trade something like this. Not today. Let the dust settle. Let it stop going down. But on these trials, sometimes they go down. Sometimes they get a little bit of hope and they come back a little bit. And then a lot of times they continue to leak. So I'm not coming in and buying this at all. Not at any price today.
You know what's kind of scary too about this chart is that no one's stepping up here. It's at 54.84. What is let's see what I guess you have a low at 52.56. Yeah, 52.56. 53 on the last bracket. So I don't know what positions people have on, but right now I would keep an eye on someone's trying to bring some stock in, rallying a little bit here. I'm not going to go out online and say the low is
Can we show the after hours chart there, Spencer?
It's so funny because it's $3 off the low and it looks like it's right on the low because
it's such a huge move.
A huge drop and volume galore out there too. Someone is puking this stock. I mean,
yeah.
Huge volume.
I really believe this is where a lot of traders really go wrong, especially a lot of newer traders, is they come in and they want to be a hero all the time. Like I see it with my non-trading friends. They're like, see something go by on CNBC. Hey, stock dropped 100 points today. How can I buy that? Because it's going to come back. A lot of times these things don't come back. It's actually sometimes the easier play if they continue to go down. So again, trying to be a hero, trying to call the bottom on a stock that just dropped 63% is a good way to lose a lot of money. It is pure gambling if you're trying to come in here right now. There's nothing. I mean, the stock is still digesting this terrible news. You got to let them digest for a few days. Well, so I think if you're coming in and maybe you get lucky, and maybe the first time you get lucky and you buy it at 53 and 55, like, oh, this is easy money. The next time you buy a 53, it's gonna be 45 in your face, and then you'll be like, oh. So I mean, this is just such a difficult thing. People naturally want to trade what is moving the most. These biotech stocks, this is just non-predictable. You might as well go to the casino and put it on red or black, at least until you get some type of low where you got a double bottom, you get something. But this is too new. The news is too fresh. I think people who are trying to come in here, it's just gambling.
And also, here's the thing too. You could actually make a attempt to make a buy today. Let's say you decide 53, and the thing could go $8-10 against you, right? And then you puke it out
in a hurry.
And then it could go absolutely anywhere. And so money that you want to part with. So even if you get into the position, chances are you're going to be taking some on the other side of the market, taking some heat. But right now, pre-market low 52.56. So we'll keep an eye on that for right now. And then the buyer stepped up to 53. But that's the only level I'm giving you on that one. 8:32 coming up. We got Jerremy coming up here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know if people heard, but I said I had 2 announcements on the show today.
Oh yeah, you did.
Okay, and I was gonna do one at the top. We're gonna go look at a Peloton bike this weekend.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Joel's gonna buy a Peloton. And I will say it again. When me and Joel come in and buy the product, usually we're the last ones to buy.
What about the Apple? When I bought my Apple Watch,
That's not thing. The Apple Watch is 0.2% of the revenue or 1% of the revenue. Peloton is 100% of the revenue. This thing, so a completely different story.
Well, here's the we got rid of. We were attempting to get rid of the 30-year-old bike we have that we hang laundry on, and then we had a treadmill in there, which I've never used. We've had it for 20 years. We're getting rid of that too. And Lisa said she wants to go look at a Peloton. And so I said, okay, so we're going to go out there and check it out. And
let us know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, it could be good. I mean, I think it's good for her because, she, likes to, get quick workouts in the morning and stuff. And for me to swim, I have to get up at like 5:15. So we're clearing out the space. So we're gonna go shopping. We're this is a big purchase here.
When are you giving us the second announcement?
In a few minutes.
Oh, in a few minutes. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
We have 2 minutes before Jeremy.
Let's do some more earnings. Let's do Michael's here, giving back almost all the gains from that September rally this morning here. So they had earnings this morning. It's not great. Q3 EPS 40 cents versus 49 cents. Sales 1.22 versus 1.26 billion dollars. Also light on the Q4 EPS guidance, and they guided the comps are going to be down 2 to 3% on a year-over-year basis.
Scrapbook store gave you a great sell in October when the thing ran from $5 to $11. I think it's going back to $5. Maybe not today, but I don't see any reason to just be all excited about the scrapbook store.
You got a gap to fill here. So if you've been waiting for this gap, I don't know if it was from earnings 565, you haven't hit it yet. That fills the gap from back in September. So 565, that's the area. You haven't hit it yet so far. Your pre-market low comes in at 609. So we'll see what happens. And wow, that is a big decline here. Can't believe it got up over 10 bucks.
Yeah, I mean, we've hated this stock since, this thing was in the 20s. And if you listen to the show, it's one we've got right. I've never liked this stock because ever since they charged me $25, tried to charge me $25 for a pair of scissors. I was like, no.
Are you allowed
back
in
in like
that
2015.
store? Is that one of the stores you're banned from?
Come on. I get banned from one store now. All of a sudden I'm banned from them all. No, I'm not banned from Michael's, but I will not be stepping into a Michael's anytime soon. Not into scrapbooking.
All right.
Does anybody still scrapbook? There you go.
Yes, people still do it, just not you.
Anybody still? I guess they still do some crafts. It's more, I'm joking when I say the scrapbook store. It's a crafting store.
All right.
So I guess if you're selling your crafts on Etsy, you got to go and like buy the stuff. Maybe you can get it that way. I'm not sure. Etsy's a bad story today too. And I'm swing long this thing. I'm going to get stopped out here today because it got downgraded Morgan Stanley to sell.
All right, let's ask our next guest if he scrapbooks. Jerremy Newsome is the founder of reallifetrading.com. Jeremy, good morning. Do you scrapbook?
What's going on, gentlemen? You'd be surprised, but I do not scrapbook.
You don't have those scrapbook scissors, that they cut all fancy cuts, and you could scrapbook some like real life trading, like decorations, and I could see this, Jeremy. Look at that mic you got too.
I probably should. It'd probably be great for marketing, and I'm most likely just missing that segment of my market, but I don't scrapbook at all.
Well, first of all, I'm still waiting on my real life trading button down shirt. I don't know.
Yeah, they were sending us those.
We never get. I want an explanation for that. Second of all, I said I had 2 announcements today, right?
Yep.
Here's the second announcement, right? You guys ready? Is everyone sitting down? I'm going to be out the last week of the year. I'm going to take a little vacation. And Spencer is going to be out the Monday and Tuesday, right? Before New Year's.
That's correct.
So Jerremy Newsome is going to co-host with Dennis Dick, the pre-market prep show. And Dennis,
yeah, Jeremy.
And Dennis, we're going to teach you how to run the show. You're going
to. No, we're not.
Well, that's scary. That's a scary thought. You'll have a better chance teaching Jeremy how to run the show than teaching me how to run the show. I'm not that technical savvy. Jeremy is.
Jeremy can do it in his sleep.
I know. So we're going to teach Jeremy. We won't teach me.
No, we're not. We're going to have someone here. Relax.
Really? I thought, well, Jeremy can do it in it.
Is Chris coming in?
Yeah, we'll get someone in. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Chris will come in.
Don't worry
About
about
5
What
days.
days are this? What days?
December 30th and 31st. I'm gone the whole week. And Spencer decided to take
Did
Monday.
you get that pass with Jason?
We'll
Week-long
have Jason.
vacation?
Yeah, we'll
It
have
just- it
Jason.
just came
on the
out.
boards. We'll have Jason. on the boards.
Jason, by the way, Joel's leaving for a week. He needs some vacation time right at the spot where everybody else takes vacation.
No, so we're gonna do that. But Jeremy and I got a little lunch bet going on here, and let's talk about it here, Jeremy.
Ah.
Tesla. So you're still you're short puts at this level, at this
Well,
nosebleed level.
Yeah,
These
I
are
am,
short
but
puts all the way up.
they're very, very far away. They're the 75 short put.
$75?
75 strike, January 2022. So they're 2
What'd you
years
get for those?
$7.
People are still paying. This is hope that this thing's going bankrupt.
Man.
I do not believe Tesla is going to bankrupt. I think you're safe for your $7.
Yeah, thanks, man. No, I appreciate that.
I've done that same trade. I did that same trade back in the beginning of summer. I covered it as the stock came back up. I wish I would have just held it and let them. Well, it was still a leap too, so I'd still be in it as well.
Okay.
But I sold on 120, I think it was, for 20
Yeah.
points.
Yeah,
When the stock was like
ridiculous,
250.
right? I'm telling you, I know. It was
So
just
it's got to fall 150 points for this guy or girl, whoever did this one, to break even. And so they're just banking that, hey, this is going to go under eventually. It's going to go insolvent. I will tell you, I believe that if Tesla, for whatever reason, gets into a capital money crunch and the stock is down $100, there will be a lineup of people to buy the company.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, they
So
actually.
I think there's almost zero, and there's never a zero chance, but I think there's a very, very small chance that Tesla goes belly up.
Very small. Yeah. Very, very small.
I'll give you my short-term thesis on this, and
So
then
tell people our bet first, Joel. Tell them like the numbers.
okay. So when the stock was actually at 333, but I said 332, right? What? So we basically have Jeremy has 363 before it hits, and I got 303. So he's looking for 30 points upside here, and I'm looking 30 points downside here. And this is
What are the prices you guys got?
Jeremy has 363.
Yeah.
He's giving me 30 points. I'm giving him 30 points.
Oh, it's right back at the exact same spot you made the bet a couple days ago.
Exactly.
It's whichever one hits first.
Yes. And it's an important point here. I mean, look at that. You got two lows in the 332 area right there. It's been really sleepy here. So it's going to roar out of here. And I just think my long-term thesis is I don't think anybody's going to buy that truck. Okay. I mean,
I hate the truck as well.
that truck. Okay. I don't know.
You are massively mistaken.
Okay. I don't know. Is anybody in the chat going to buy the truck? Jeremy, you going to buy the truck?
I was going to buy the truck until I saw it. Me and my wife were discussing this for a long time. We were both pumped to see the Tesla truck because we said we wanted a Tesla. We've been talking about, my one good friend just bought the Model 3 Performance. Awesome car. It's like, I want one. I do want one. And, let's wait for the truck. Let's see what the truck looks like. It's hideous. It's hideous. My wife thought well, that's not the real one. That's just the prototype, right? No, that's the real truck. That's what they're selling. It's hideous.
Well,
so you get people like me that you're thinking about buying it and saying no way. Maybe there's some people who like hideous trucks. Maybe they're going to be the ones that come out.
It's early stages, man. They're going to be
maybe they're planning on going to Mars with it.
They're going to make a few updates. It's going to look good, man. Just wait.
It doesn't look good.
It's good.
Anyway, I agree with Joel on that short-term short thesis. I am still a Tesla, kind of off, not owning it, but the rating of the puts things I can get along with.
And here's
really
my other.
I'm a Tesla non-bankrupt trader.
My other longer term thesis here. This is going to be similar to my mall thesis. I just think overall, there's going to be less cars on the road. I really do. I think.
I believe
I'm
that
on
too.
my last car. I'm done. I'm just going to Uber or get some. I mean, I don't think there's just going to be less cars and less expensive cars. And I don't think this is good for GM or Ford or anybody. I just think I'm looking like the Jetsons here, and I just think there's going to be. So that's my long-term bear.
Flying cars.
Yeah, something here, but
Musk, if anybody comes out with a flying car, it's gonna be Musk though.
Bingo.
You know what?
You
when Musk comes out with that flying car, Jeremy, stock's gonna be $500.
Oh
Maybe
man, it's
1,000.
gonna be $500 much before the flying car gets announced.
I still am. I'm kind of with Jeremy on this bet because I think you could go down short term, but I don't know if you get down to the 300 area anytime soon. I think there's going to be people who are short that want to cover.
Who's going to buy this? Who's going to come in,
The shorts.
buy this thing at 330?
What's the short interest on this
after
thing?
this kind of move?
It's
What
still got a
long-term
huge short
investor
interest.
is going to come in and buy this here? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Whatever. I'll risk a lunch on it. But let's talk about some other stocks here besides Tesla.
22%.
Short.
Dennis.
Yeah.
Still a lot of potential buyers.
A lot of people.
Wow.
That's down from where it was though. Some of those shorts
is.
got kicked out.
It's going to move out of here. I mean, it is too quiet here. So it's consolidation periods are just.
I don't like, okay, day traders. I don't like that double top from the last 2 days. So I will say that, and I don't like the candle from yesterday either. I guess you could argue it didn't take out yesterday's low either. So you have almost identical ranges.
Exactly.
So it breaks down through 332. You
It
start
could
to
happen.
think it could go to the recent low of the move at 324. That's a long ways away from 303 though. But day traders there, I'm a little concerned about yesterday's candle. But longer term, I'm still with Jeremy. I think Tesla's higher longer term.
Okay. All right, Jeremy, we got some gaps for you today, and you are going to show us the light here. Sage Therapeutics, how are you trading this gap today?
I'm with Dennis on Sage Therapeutics, man. I have no idea.
It's above our pay grade to trade this thing today.
2%. I mean, you can't short it. You shouldn't buy it. Yeah.
Not a day one.
No. I have no idea how to do it. I would just totally stay away from that.
Take it off the screen so you're not even tempted.
Yeah. I agree. I do like going to the casino, and I am a great red or black bettor. I'm a great red or black bettor. That's what you're doing if you're doing this. So just go to the casino and just hang out and play red or black rather than play Sage Therapeutics today.
How about Michael's Stores, since we talked about that?
Yeah, so Michael's, that'll be an interesting one. Retail, a lot of retail is weak. This one is most likely going to fade a little bit early in the morning, but eventually going to go lower. I don't expect any.
Jeremy and me on the same page on everything today.
Yeah, man. I don't love Michael's. It's a little bit of an extended gap. Again, I think it could pop down lower. If I was looking at playing this, I would short it as high as possible. Like, meaning don't take a breakout on it lower. It just seems like it's going to gap down, trade up a little bit, and then roll over because it's Michael's.
Sorry, Michael's.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, the one that I am looking to short though. Is, I'm going to keep an eye on Kodiak Sciences for a short.
Ooh, this is a wild one. This is a bold call.
This is a wild one, but I'm gonna.
Do you want to hear about my trade on this one yesterday? I think did I mention on the show? I don't even know if I mentioned it.
I didn't hear you mention it.
I shorted this thing on the offering price and then I talked about how you don't do that, but I did do it after hours. I shorted a 49 because offering 46, and it came in a little bit. And I was like, this isn't coming in. This is silly. I need to just be covering this. I covered a 48. I made a point on that somehow. I wish I would have went long. The offering 46 blast off to $73. So this is above my pay grade really here too. I just had a short-term trade on it, but
yeah, it'll be
a move yesterday.
It'll definitely be a day trade. I'm looking at just shorting some of this weakness. I'm just gonna keep an eye on it. It's gonna be an aggressive play. It is hard to find locates on, but it's possible. So I'll be looking at potentially shorting that one. But PCG. So we had a really good pop on PCG.
Oh yeah, squeeze them.
Yep, I will be keeping an eye on PCG right now. It's up 6% after hours. If it hits 11.11, this dude is shorting.
11.11. Why 11.11? Just besides being an awesome number. Why?
I like the number. I
like the number as well.
It's right around the 100 simple on the daily and the 100 simple moving average. And PCG failed that back on July 24th. But it's also right above the high of yesterday, and that would be up about 12% after open. And then you'd have 6 bullish days in a row. It just seems like the risk reward would be okay for a short up there. My stop would be pretty conservative, but I will definitely be looking at if it makes a new high, I won't be buying it today. That's pretty much what I'm getting at.
Yeah, you had a close at 1098 the day before. It dropped to 779, and the high on that day is 1121. So a lot of people want to get their money back here.
Yeah.
at the $11 area. So we'll keep an eye. Yeah, I mean story stock, that's for sure. What
Yeah.
else is on your radar today? I know there's a lot of stocks moving because of ratings and stuff. Any other interesting gaps to take a look at?
Roku has been on fire over the
Yep.
last few days. Just an amazing, amazing mover. I'm
They
keeping
just
my
come
eyes
in
on
and
it.
buy the dip. I mean, this is what they do on this stock. The stock goes down for a day or two, and then they just start buying it again.
You have a day or two. That's it. Like that.
That's it.
You literally had one day to be short on Roku, and then it just immediately reversed. Had a beautiful gap yesterday, and it's doing it again today. It's gapping above yesterday's high. I don't know why you wouldn't be bullish on it short term. I mean, that's just the trend right now. So it's kind of hard to argue. I'm not going to short it. I'll only be looking for longs on Roku today. So that'll be a little bit interesting. And then Alibaba, I actually kind of like this move on BABA, BABA. I like the breakout. I really like the volume. And it is gapping a little bit today as well. I know it gaps very frequently.
That was from Goldman last night.
Yep. So if
Goldman came out and they put the Hong Kong listing on the conviction buy list,
which is
equivalent to this one too. But I believe it was already on the buy list, so it's interesting. But it's trades over in Hong Kong now too ahead of time, so the price discovery is kind of already happening.
Agreed. And I'm chatting with a Hong Kong trader on Facebook every so often. They really, really love this company over there. I mean, the earnings numbers were ridiculous. It's a nice little breakout. It's a new higher high, new higher low on volume. So I'm just keeping an eye on this one for some longs, not specifically just today, but also just in the preceding future, because this one will make new all-time highs in the next 4 months. It's just, how high is it going to go? Because once she starts stretching her legs, man, BABA can move.
Yeah, I think it's gearing up to go to. I'm still long in the long-term account. All-time high, if we go way out, we got to go back into 2018, just over a year ago, $211.70.
Yep. So we'll be poking through that before too long. When the whole Hong Kong issues get kind of straightened out and calmed down a little bit, I think that we have some really good opportunity, because last week you closed above the June 25th high that week, which was like a big gap down. That was a big, not earnings gap, but just kind of like a random gap. And that was an unfilled gap as of until last week. So I think it's a big deal that we reclaim that price and we're retesting that price and you have really good volume. I'm looking for BABA long, and I love that you have it in your long-term account, Dennis. I think that's a no-brainer.
How about Nike? How about this gap here in Nike?
That's Goldman too.
Yeah, that's Goldman.
Upgraded.
Oh, I pulled up my Pro.
Goldman's busy.
Goldman bullish this morning. What about this gap here?
NKE, they are doing a lot with Black Friday sales, man. They did really well, I feel like. There were some really great offers, a lot of good ads online, on Twitter, on Instagram. I saw them everywhere because everyone wants to go running, right? Running's the new thing right now. Triathlons are hot. So Nike's really getting into that game pretty strong with some good running shoes. They're trying to become a running company. They're buying a lot of other brands, smaller name brands. So I think with Nike gapping up, it'll be a little bit of a pullback opportunity. So don't buy it initially, but it's a great gap. I mean, incredible gap. I just look for a little bit of a pullback first and then look to go long, because the trend on Nike is unquestionably bullish.
All-time high, I'll just give you that in Nike. All-time high made back in October, 96.83. If you're looking for a potential target on the upside, big move up to 21. So you mentioned a potential short. Anything else on your radar today?
I mean, really, I heard you mention Peloton. That's going to be an interesting fad.
Give us your technicals on this one.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Wild candle yesterday.
Yeah, so I actually really liked the candle yesterday because you had a good poke through the 10 EMA, nice lower shadow. It was a retest of the November 27th to the November 29th gap. I was in a Peloton long and sold on December 2nd. I got lucky. And then, so we're retesting. So I think it's actually viable. This is a very, very high short interest, I think, according to highshortinterest.com. It's the third more shorted stock right now on the market. I don't know if it's entirely accurate, but it's claiming to have a 67% short interest. So
two things on this one. One, and I gave this argument a few days ago, but just my thoughts are it's a pretty good seasonality trade here. I mean, everybody's talking, even Joel's talking about going and buying one of these things, and then you're going to come into New Year's and, you know, obviously New Year's resolutions. So that all comes into play here too. That's the good short-term story. The long-term story here is it's just still just a treadmill, in my opinion, with a TV
Correct.
screen
Long
attached to
term,
it.
this is absolute
Treadmill with an iPad.
long term is absolute garbage.
Yeah. So short term, I think it's higher. I think when we look at the 6 months from now, I think it's lower.
Yep.
All right, Jeremy, you did some traveling. I know you got some more traveling coming up. What's on the radar for you?
Let's see. We got LA in a week and a half, and then Dubai, and then Hawaii, and then Denver. And that's all I got right now. Oh, wait, no, wait. Sorry. Salt Lake City in March, and then Vegas in March.
Holy world traveler.
Turks and Caicos in May.
Oh, wait,
This guy, man.
Are you going to
He is
Vegas?
popular.
Are you going to Vegas for the isn't there a money show or a Traders Expo?
There is a Traders Expo. I'm going to that one in New York City in May. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, March. I'm going to the one in March in New York City.
Okay.
All right, we'll get back to you with the details for running the show, or you know what the setup of the show is going to be.
Very excited about that.
The end of the year, because pre-market prep, we're always here. We never take a day off. And
Even when we do.
Did we do?
No, even when we do.
Yeah. The show must go on. Dennis really never.
I'm not allowed days off because I have to work the Canadian holidays and the US holidays, so I never get a day
Actually,
off.
Dennis, this is a big announcement. Dennis came out of his house 2 times last week.
Wow.
He came over on Tuesday because we had some meetings here, and then he came over on Thursday for the Thanksgiving Day parade. So he actually got out of his house, and I talked to Laura about it, and she said, anytime we can get you out of the house, we should try and do it.
I know.
All right.
I feel like a hamster. I'm just in my cage, and I got my little trading wheel there, and I just keep running on my trading wheel. And every once in a while, I get off. Somebody hands me a carrot. I get to eat a carrot.
You're trading Peloton.
I probably need a Peloton.
All right. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Always great talking to you. We'll get you the details on the shows at the end of the year, Jeremy. Thank you. Jerremy Newsome, Real Life Trading.
You guys rock. Take care.
All right. We went kind of long with Jeremy, but he's fun. He's a great guy to have on. And
oh, yeah.
Always has good input here. So we're hanging out near yesterday at Tuesdays and Wednesdays high. We did poke through it in the pre-market 24.75. So we'll see. Prove it to me again. The high on we're above the week high. So basically, we got a lot of those losses back from the one days that we had our correction, right? And now back up to new all-time high. Someone new in the chat's asking about the XLE, Dennis, and the energy sector.
Sure.
Man, and I mean, oil's moving, but man, it's always moving, but it just doesn't look like a good look. I'm just looking at the XLE here. God, it's hard to get excited about this thing. What's your thoughts?
I mean, you got to consider, and a lot of people like to pair trade the XLE against the XOP. They're different animals. Yes, they both move with oil, and yes, a lot of times they do correlate with each other. You got to think the XLE, though, is 22% Exxon, 21% Chevron. So when you are buying the XLE, you are buying basically ExxonMobil and Chevron to the tune of 43%. So if you look at the ExxonMobil chart and the Chevron chart, obviously they do their own thing, but they follow the XLE a lot more closely. XOP is a lot of smaller oil companies, more equal weighted. So you don't have these heavy weightings. The biggest weighting in the XOP is Marathon Petroleum, which is MRO. And then you have PBF and Valero, and you actually have some of the refiners. So different animals, even though they're obviously both oil and they move with oil. So just consider that when you're trading them. With that being said, just technically, XLE, at least, I don't know. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. I really don't see any clean setup on this. Do you?
No. I mean, if
I'm like going to pass now that we're allowed to do that. Pass.
I'm just looking at some.
Don't abuse it.
Pass.
I don't know. Let's see here. I just lean on the monthly lows here, and not the one from December, but you had 3 monthly lows in the 56 area, 55.64, 55.55 or 2 months, and then another month at 56.38. So, if you want to risk $3 here on a long-term chart, the other thing I see on this, I don't draw trend lines, and of course, everyone's trend line probably looks different, but if you connect that top at 61.83 and it kind of connected with the other top at 60.86, and then you got another top at 60.37. So you can draw that. Above that, I think it would be a technical pop if you could clear that trend line, but no clear setup here either. 857. There were some other ratings we probably needed.
We had some ratings. Costco sales came out last night as well. Stocks trading a little bit higher. I don't know if you care about the same store sales or not. Spencer, what about ratings? The ratings parade. There was some interesting ones.
A lot this morning. So let's go through my pro. We discussed Nike upgrade at Goldman Sachs to buy, gave it a price target of 112. Stifel Nicholas upgrading Facebook and Google this morning to buy as well. Morgan Stanley, this is big, upgrading CHWY to overweight, giving it a $30 price target. You don't see too many.
CHWY, where's that? Oh, it's lower.
Right.
Remember we were at $33 and I was calling this pets.com part 2. Looks like it's 10 points lower from where I hadn't looked at it. Seriously, I just looked at it for the first time in 2
You bought
months.
that on Spencer's first day trade.
Yeah,
was
my first day trade. My first like IPO trade. It was
people like this at $33, $34. I still think it's the online pet food store. And I still think a lot lower going ahead. I don't know from a valuation perspective because I don't even know if it makes money. So I've never sat there and analyzed it, but I just didn't want to buy an online pet food store at $34, even though when a lot of other people were pumping it on the media. So I've been bearish. I was bearish back then. Haven't looked at it for 2 months. 10 points lower than where I was bearish. So I guess I got this one right.
F5 Networks downgraded Bank of America to underperform, lower their price target from 185 to 140. Etsy down at Morgan Stanley to underweight. And
they're getting me on the Etsy. I'm gonna get stopped out today. Yeah. Okay.
I did have a good feeling when you hopped in that you were out of.
I was out and then I hopped back in. You know why I hopped back in? Because that little double bottom from I was going to lean on that, the 41.69, 41.73. And this is what happened. So good example here. Good example. So I bought it because I liked the little double bottom, 41.73 from 41.69, the two lows in the same day. And then it started to show, and the markets Momo started to show some life. And it actually, it ran a buck after I bought it. I was hoping to get back up and retest that 45 area. So I was thinking I was going to risk myself like 50 cents to try to make a couple of bucks. That's obviously not going to work out because of the downgrade here today. So I'm clearly through my stop. And obviously, you don't want to make a swing trade become an investment. So you're going to have to eat the 4%. I mean, this is how you do it. It's trading 101. Get out when you have to. If it cuts through your stop by $1.50, there's nothing you can do about it. You eat it and you move on. I mean, the only thing is now you're at the point, could I lean on the low of the move at 39.81? Maybe you do that, but absolutely it starts making new lows, which I believe it's going to do here. Now it's come this far, why not? So anyways, the swing trade turned into a little bit more of a loss than I wanted.
Last one on the ratings. It's not a rating. It is a price target raise. Citi has raised their price target on Apple from 250 to 300. And on a side note, we knew that Citi had raised their price target by 20% this morning. And we knew they'd raised it to 300, but I swear I was trying to do math and I could not figure out how to get that 250 number. But anyway,
we figured it out.
I
figured it out in my head, of course.
The resistance on this is incredible at 268. You have 4 highs in the same area. The high back from going back to the 19th, and then 3 in a row at 267.98 on the 27th, 268 on the kisser on the 29th, and then 268 and a quarter. So 268 is the major resistance point here. I'm going to do a 50% off of this. So I'm going to go 268, take it down. The low of 3 days goes 256. A 12-point move. 6 points back up will bring you
62.
Slightly through it right now. You're above it right now. So maybe you get another shot to short it up at 268. I'm still long in the long-term account, but I would not be buying it here.
Let's see here. It's trading above yesterday's high. Oh no, it just takes 61. That's probably
it's good. It's up on the Citi stuff, and could it go a little further? Yeah, there's room to 268, but I don't like the risk reward setup.
Is that a real ticket at 261.74? No.
No,
okay.
No.
All right. No, I just
that's from your close. It's all old print.
63.31. That yesterday's high. If you're buying this, you certainly want to see it hold yesterday's high, and then not much up there. If you want to looking at for a number ahead of that 68 and a quarter, your all-time closing high at this point is 267 and a quarter. So that's another potential target here. Apple trading up $1.75. So tomorrow's Friday, Dennis, and I know you're tired of losing at Hot Potato. Are you going to try and make up a segment for Spencer and I, or
I think that's what I'm gonna
I
have
was
to
going to
do.
remind him if you didn't. So good job, Joel.
Segment, so I don't have to play because I lose Hot Potato every time. So
Dennis,
I want to host Hot Potato.
It's fine. You have 23 hours.
Wrote it down on my paper. I will make up. What do we want? 5 questions or 10 questions? 10's too many.
10 is too
10's too
many.
many.
Do like 6.
5 solid questions. Oh
5
no, we got to be an even number. So we're gonna do 3 apiece. 6.
Perfect.
And
I'm
yeah,
excited.
just so everyone knows, Dennis lost at hockey.
That's how bad I am at Hot Potato. I even
he gets all
lost at my
nervous.
sport.
He can trade like 80
I could talk hockey
distance.
with anyone, but I can't on Hot Potato. I just panic. It's like a deer caught in the headlights. I sit there and I just stare at the light and I get hit by the car.
Good thing you're not.
Seriously, I suck at Hot Potato.
Stocks, so, all right. Well, thank you, Spencer. Great show today.
Yeah, first time we had any gremlins in the walls for it's
time.
been a while, but I hope I kicked him out after the show started. I want to thank our guest Jerremy Newsome. Thanks to all of you who stuck with us in our chats on YouTube and premarket.benzinga.com. Catch our podcast wherever you get your podcast, or just rewatch our show on Benzinga's YouTube channel. That's Benzinga TV. Please remember, all the information from our show meant to be used as informational purposes only, not for investing or trading advice. And on tomorrow's show, we'll be joined by Fari Hamzi.
Fari.
I've not spoken to Fari for
Awesome.
a second, so we got Fari on the show tomorrow to wrap up the week.
Watch
Everyone,
Commander.
Yep. Everyone have a great rest of your day. We'll be back with you on Friday.